Andy Enfield is the head basketball coach at SMU. Today's a big day for SMU and the ACC. That's official. We have had, of course, Rick Hart on the show, and we've had Rhett Lashley on the show. We appreciate Coach joining us as well. Andy, thanks for your time. And so what does today mean, in your opinion, for SMU and also not just the university athletic department, but your men's basketball team too?
It's a great day for everybody at SMU. They've been waiting a long time to get back to the power conference level. The ACC is the premier basketball league in the country, in my opinion. So it's just an exciting time for all the sports as well as the city of Dallas.
You're an ACC team that's right in the middle of Big 12 country, which is the other big power basketball conference. How much does that help your brand a little bit there, that you can kind of draw from these similar talent pools? And I know that basketball recruiting is maybe more national than anything, but being in Dallas and being in that big part of it helped your recruiting.
Well, I think we separate ourselves because we're the only ACC school in the state of Texas and the only school in Dallas, which is the fourth largest TV market in the country. So we have great high school sports here. The state is loaded with great basketball talent at the high school level, and there are a lot of great AAU teams here as well. So I think we're in the right spot at the right time, and we would like to try to develop this program in the ACC with some Texas recruits, as well as hit the transfer portal when we have to.
Coach, it's been a busy year. I mean, taking that SMU job, making the leap as they move into the ACC, just how have you kind of acclimated to Dallas? I don't know maybe what your prior history there was, but how are you getting to know SMU, just the league and all that comes with that?
Well, the most time I spent in Dallas when I was an assistant coach in the NBA, and we played the Mavericks, and I enjoyed it then, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I am very pleasantly surprised. SMU is in a beautiful area. The city's very accessible, and the energy here is top-notch. What the Mavericks did here to get the basketball fans excited in Dallas, we're just hoping at SMU that we can go out and be very competitive and win some games and get the city behind us like they did the Mavs.
I believe I heard a quote from you or read this, and I want to make sure you want to, add to it, but you took this job knowing they were going to be a part of the ACC. Could you see yourself at SMU, with all due respect, if they weren't?
Well, I had a long-term contract at USC and was very happy. We've been here 11 seasons, and we had a lot of great players and great teams, and so I wasn't necessarily looking to leave a great situation. However, SMU going to the ACC was extremely exciting. And so to be honest with you, no, we would not have left as a coaching staff if this was not happening at SMU. We would not have gone unless they were joining the ACC. That was the huge reason of why we were interested in talking to, and we're just so excited to be here now.
How much is it easier now to change jobs than it was in the past because of the portal, or is it just a different flavor of difficult?
The transfer portal's made it easier to rebuild quicker, but you have to, first of all, get the right transfers and mesh them together to play as a team. So, yes, you can with the transfer portal and the NIL. It is a quicker process because before, when we took the USC job 11 and a half years ago, we had to recruit high school players. And if we did take a transfer, they had to sit out a year. So it was at least a year before you could get some of your recruits in there because your first recruiting classes were still in high school. So it is a different time now. It makes it quicker, but at the same time, you have to really evaluate and try to get to know these young men you're bringing to your program.
Coach, I know you're at SMU now, but I did want to touch on the fact you had a couple of draft picks, former players, Isaiah Collier, Bronny James, both getting drafted last week. Obviously, Bronny's got the big story with going to L.A. and being there with his dad. But just your thoughts on those two young men, and what's it like as a coach? I mean, you've pumped out draft picks on a regular basis, but what's that just like from your standpoint, your angle, to see those guys get to fulfill their dreams?
Well, really proud of Isaiah and Bronny. They've worked so hard to get to where they are in their games today, to be drafted. We've had, I think we had 10 NBA. Isaiah was the 9th and Bronny was the 10th NBA player we've had since 2018 at USC. So we've had quite a few draft picks, quite a few NBA players that have been successful and sustained their success in the league. And I think both those young men will be in a development stage and will have long NBA careers, and just excited for them.
When you were at Johns Hopkins, did you ever get recruited by the lacrosse coach?
No, I did not, but I did run a lacrosse camp with Dave Petramala for 10 years, and David's one of my great friends, and of course, he won 2 national championships as the head coach at Hopkins many years later.
Can you try to describe how physical that sport is? And I mean, the cardio, yes, but it's more. I think people may think it's physical, but it to me is an incredible sport.
Well, lacrosse, like a lot like basketball, you have the player movements, you have zone defense, man defense, you have cutting. So it's a lot. The movements and the philosophy, offense, defense, just like basketball. So I think it's a tremendous sport. It's really grown since we started at lacrosse camp in 1992. The sport has grown through the Midwest all the way out to the West Coast, and I love watching it.
What do you think SMU needs as they enter the ACC? They have they have a history in basketball. Is there anything else the school's going to do to make sure that everything is set as you enter the ACC?
We have great support here, the administration, all the way from the president's office down to the athletic department. Rick Carter, our athletic director, is terrific, very experienced, Laura Nadee. So we're pumped up, ready to go. The head of the board of trustees, David Miller, is a former basketball player. He was very successful with his teammates back in the Southwest Conference. They had some great teams. Of course, what Larry Brown did here with some great teams, Tim Jankovic, et cetera. So there have been a lot of great players and teams that come through SMU. We just have to do our part now to try to get that back to where they've been and sustain the success if we can.
You've been, at a lot of different stops. And when you were at Florida Gulf Coast, that was a school that didn't exist like a decade before you even got there. And you built that program and made that run with them in the NCAA tournament. Then you go to USC, you've been in the NBA. How do each of your different stops and the different situations of those coaching stops form you as a coach? And how do you kind of apply things that you've learned?
Well, I started as an assistant coach in the NBA, and then I went to Leonard Hamilton, joined his staff at Florida State, learned how to watch just a Hall of Fame coach build a program, and so I was very fortunate to work with Coach Hamilton. Florida Gulf Coast was different. It was our first head coaching job, and we tried to recruit some size and length and some guards that could really push the pace. And 2 years later, had Dunk City. So those Brett Comer, Bernard Thompson, Sherwood Brown, those guys were just incredible. Chase Fielder. So we tried to do the same thing at USC, but we didn't have the transfer portal, so it took a while to build. We were last place in the Pac-12 the first 2 years. And I would say that what we learned there was, first of all, you need good players to win. Secondly, you have to be patient and build a program. And so our third year, we flipped it, won 20-some games, went to the NCAA tournament, and we had the most sustained success in USC basketball history for the next decade, and went to Elite Eight and 6 or 7 NCAA tournaments and put 10 guys in the NBA. So I think all the stops have been a learning experience for me as a head coach. Very excited to hopefully this will be my last head coaching job at SMU. I think the ACC is a challenge. It has an incredible basketball history with a lot of great schools and programs and coaches. So I'm just very fortunate in my career to be at a place like SMU and also be the first head coach I have in the ACC.
Coach, what's been your message to SMU supporters, just fans and people in general when it comes to the expectation of what they'll see when they see Andy Enfield-led SMU take the court next season?
Well, we'll try to play our style, spread the floor. We'll try to push the pace. And at USC, before this past year, we had these injuries. The last 4 years, we led the nation in defense, at field goal percent defense over a 4-year period. And so defensively, we are going to try to be exceptional once again. So that'll start there. And then we can get our stops, steal the ball and rebound the ball, push the pace and spread the floor. So that's our goal, and we'll see what happens.
I know you have an appointment with the ACC Network, and we're going to let you do that. But could you try to describe again today what it's been like? It's the summertime, but what it's been like on campus at SMU or around the athletic department?
Well, there's a lot of excitement when the students were in session until they went to final exams. And this is a little slower in summer, but everybody can feel the energy here. It's incredible. Once school starts August 26th and the football starts to play some home games, I think it's going to be the best sporting atmosphere here in Dallas.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks for your time. Andy Enfield, he's the men's basketball coach at SMU. He was on that run. He was the head coach at Florida Gulf Coast, Dunk City, and then went to USC. And he said it when he took the job at SMU. Had it not been for the fact that they were entering the ACC, he would not. He said it again to us. Take that job.
Well, yeah.
He would probably still be at USC because otherwise, you're talking about a step down. With all due respect to SMU basketball, now you're talking about being a part of the ACC with something to build.